call it to order, Andy?
So we have a quorum, so we will call it to order at 7:39 p.m. So we start with
Public input?
Oh.
I'm Pete Burr from the pickleball.
Oh, okay.
There's emails going back and forth, they want to change the times, I want to see what you want me to do to accommodate the meeting.
We need to give up all the time to tell, no, I'm just kidding. It's kind of in process because the meeting didn't really take place as I had hoped. And we're going to have some conflicts with what groups have. This is why I like doing the meeting, because you're sort of all sitting at the same table and there's a lot of
Right.
give and take, and now it's, everybody's sort of requesting stuff and it's overlapping and it's going to be.
Should you reschedule to get everybody back into the,
That might be the best thing to do.
yeah.
I'm going to try and do it through emails, and then if I can't, then we'll just reschedule and say, look, we
If
need
there's a
to.
lot of conflicts, then
Yeah.
it can be easier just, yeah.
There's a lot of, I mean, because as you know, I know you missed the now we have flag football that's involved now too, so there's more than just, at the time, I think when you sent out the meeting, I don't think Tara, I think I sent it to her, but.
I don't think they do
maybe not.
anything this time of year, though.
Well, they already have a request in,
Really?
Yeah, they just put one in.
they put one in
So it's
for next week. Over February vacation. So we can finish with public input and then.
Well, there is no public, he's just here for the scheduling for.
Okay, just so that there's not gonna be discussion about scheduling tonight, because we can't.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, really, there's no impact for what you currently have.
Other than, and I understand what you're saying, the message I saw said softball wanted or baseball wanted to start the weekend after Winterfest, which is next week. They wanted 3 additional hours, and someone wanted March 12th. I don't mind, as long as I know in advance. I mean, I'd like not to do the weekend after Winterfest, because that's 2 weekends in a row, but we'll support whatever you folks are doing.
All right, I must have missed that email, which,
Jeanette forwarded me an email from last night, she's in Florida.
uh,
An email,
Yeah, is it, and the name escapes me. Baseball. I saw something.
well, baseball wanted to
Oh,
continue with what
that's
they had on.
softball. It says, softball missed the meeting too, but we need to increase our weekend time and get 3 hours ourselves for our rec divisions, like
Right.
to start the weekend
Oh, okay.
after Winterfest.
that's softball, right?
Yeah, we are looking to get the most of the day Saturday, March 12th for assessments. That was from,
Keith K.
Keith, yeah.
Right.
So, but
I
you're
mean,
trying to work this out
I'd already
through-
gotten something from your husband
Okay.
requesting that day from, they wanted 4 hours on the 12th. And instructional basketball is over at that point, so they can just take the instructional basketball hours for that day, so it won't impact you.
I know.
It makes no difference to me, I mean, whatever you need us to do. But what about the additional 3 hours that they want?
On Sundays?
He doesn't say Sundays, he just said,
I think in the past, is that the softball request? In the
Yes.
past, it has been on Sundays. I don't think that's an absolute requirement, but I know in previous years, I think it's usually taken place on Sundays.
You're right.
Saturdays are a lot more open, Sundays are packed. Sundays, we have somebody in there from 8 o'clock to 8 o'clock.
Okay.
How does
Well-
the 20th look?
I think he's looking for,
Sunday we have 11 to 4. So if they're taking hours out of that, just let me know. And Saturdays we do 2 to 8 and sometimes they're long, so I mean, let me know what you need to do.
Okay.
so if you're already going through email with the leagues and the coordinators, we should just let you continue doing that.
Right.
Okay.
I think the only thing we'd have to meet with or discuss at the meeting is if there is a conflict that can't be worked out, then we just need, as a group, to make the decision to say, this group gets this group gets this, and divvy it up and just sort of make the executive decision, but,
Now, I saw that you created, I guess, email accounts for all the leagues
yes, so
with
I
their
created,
coordinators.
because every year, we get, all of a sudden, oh, this changed, and now I didn't get this email, and I didn't get this email. And even sites, I think soccer, I think they've changed their site, so the info at Litchfield Youth Soccer or whatever didn't go to whoever it needs to go to. So I created, and you got yours, I just created a Gmail account that has the name of the organization, .lrc@gmail.com. I put, some of them I had to do, like Litchfield softball. I think there was already a softball dot, I don't know why. But that way, those are gonna be the only ones I'm gonna email for, so we can just send that out. And that way everybody can have it. And we'll just have that group, and basically, when softball's doing their signups, just send that out to all the groups so that, you say, hey, can you send this to all the people in your organization?
I guess my question with that is, it's still just going to that one general contact.
Correct.
Yeah, but it's instead of the email address being owned by the person that's in that position at the time.
So Rick, for instance, so say
Right,
Rick
that's just a
moves on.
standing email address that would be passed on to the next person, right?
Okay,
Like, let's say we were communicating with Rick through his Gmail,
Yep.
Rick Gamache Gmail. Well, when he leaves that position, we're still gonna try to attempt to use that, and he's gonna say, well, I'm not doing that anymore.
well, that, I realize that in the perfect world, but even still now, you're directly sending it to people, and they're still not saying that they're not the person anymore, right?
Well, no, but once it's there, it's their responsibility to pass it along. The other thing I've done is the backup email, how Gmail is the RC, is our general email.
Right, I
So
saw that, so,
if somebody takes off and, there's some big blowout in the league, I'm not gonna pass along my stuff. We can just reset it and give it to the new contact person
okay,
from this
okay.
thing. So that way, it's just gonna streamline it for us, so we're not chasing emails and.
Agreed, it's just a matter of, like you said, it's still in the responsibility of that organization to at least alert you to whoever that new person's going to be.
Right, but the whole point is, if there's a breakdown in communication to them.
Yeah.
Then it's their responsibility, so next year, if the same thing happens, they say, well, I couldn't get to the meeting, I didn't get the email. Well, I didn't get the email, well, they didn't pass it along, well.
So it's an email that you created, so how did they access that as their email receiver?
I sent who I currently had as a contact, I sent them the email address and the password that I created,
Okay,
and then I said, create your own password, and now it's yours.
Yeah.
The only question I think maybe what you're alluding to is, I don't use Gmail historically, so how will I get those?
You'll need to log into Gmail and get the email, it
it's
depends.
just a free account that
Yeah.
you just,
No. Well, versus what it is, but I don't use that. I use Outlook and other stuff,
Right.
and I've used that for 8 bazillion years.
Well, you can with Outlook,
But I'm just integrated in there then.
yeah,
yeah.
Okay, simple enough.
so
Can I get
hopefully,
back to the calendar for a minute?
Yes,
Then because I don't want to tie up with that.
No.
So right now, because I have to log it 2 weeks ahead, so I gotta start logging in March now, because that's the way our Sign Up Genius works. Can I just load in what I have for hours now, and then if you tell me to change it, I will?
yep. There shouldn't be really a lot of changes.
Well, the third week in March, there's some free nights. I'll send a separate email to you. I'd like to grab those.
Right, softball hasn't been put in there for those yet, so that's gonna be the tough one. What we did for basketball too is we're shifting all of the travel practices to talent because they have to free up LMS for games, for playoffs. And playoffs start late and they go till the 21st of March, MSBL,
wow.
yeah.
Okay, so but I can load in the March schedule, currently the way the February schedule is. And we talked about, I'm gonna take Tuesday mornings now because the playgroup's gone, if that's okay with everyone.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't think I sent you guys an email. Yeah, playgroup is done.
It's
Completely
dissolved,
done.
okay.
Yeah, it's dissolved. I took all the toys, minus what's in the shed, which I'll get that in the spring. I'm sick of fighting with that lock. It's always frozen, so I took all the toys out of there. I put all the basketballs that were absolutely everywhere and put them in the blue bin. And then, so now there's no toys inside the hall at all.
Basketballs are neater.
Huh?
The basketballs are much neater.
Are that, yeah. Well, you should have seen oh my God, that was crazy. They were in the sinks. It was absolutely everywhere. The shirts were everywhere. It was.
What shirts?
the net shirtings,
The
you
pennies.
know. I don't know what
The
they're
red and
called.
white ones?
Yeah, black and red, I think they were,
Practice jerseys,
yeah.
they're all over the place.
So, yeah, it's getting, I mean, every time I go in there, there's just absolutely nobody takes responsibility for it. So, but anyway, so I took all the toys out, but all the basketballs, it pretty much filled the bin. So that's done. But I did want to ask you, on the 20th, is there anything booked for the 20th of March? Do we know on the calendar?
The 20th of March.
Yeah. Which is the Sunday before Easter?
I'm just looking, I've heard,
Yeah, it's-
there's
I mean,
basketball
it's-
practice, there's pickleball, youth, LYSL.
It's just the normally recurring stuff, which is baseball, pickleball, soccer, and something else.
Okay, is there any way that I can take that day for the Easter egg hunt?
We could just vote as a group, and
I'm sorry, what was the date again?
The 20th, it's the weekend before, it's the Sunday before Easter, which is usually what I take for the Easter egg hunt.
I don't think this, I'd have to bring up the calendar. But then we don't even have the calendar for outside, so, but you need town hall as well, right? You want inside?
Yep, the hall and the fields. And I do need that for the entire day, because the fields are gonna be littered.
Sorry. Should have the calendar up. So that's March 20th.
March 20th. Yeah, I can't pull it up.
Right now we have basketball, but that's, I don't think that's real.
what?
On March 20th, LRBL practice from 8 to 11.
Oh, that's
Oh, this is baseball, I'm sorry, this is baseball, yep. So baseball, and that was, you're right, Russ did send a request, baseball has
Just
a
saying,
request
can
in
we
there.
continue that?
And they
Yeah.
continue Sunday mornings. So we have baseball in there, pickleball in there, from 11 to 4, and then for Litchfield soccer, yep. 4 to 6, and then lacrosse,
Lacrosse.
6 to 9. I don't know if anything at that point would be started outside, depending on the weather. I don't know how the
Is
fields are.
that weekend's pretty much booked the same as
Every weekend.
yeah.
This is the weekend before Easter?
Yeah. Yeah, the Easter's the 27th, it's really early this year.
Early this year, yeah. I don't think there'll be much activity on the fields, but I don't know.
Right, because the one big issue for those groups too will be, they're not gonna do anything the following Sunday because it's Easter.
Right.
So they're gonna basically lose it for 2 weeks.
Which they have for the past 4 years that I've been doing
Yeah.
it. So,
Yeah.
although it's never been that booked. Usually it's.
Talent, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
talent, usually it's
Yeah,
just
that's-
pickleball or.
What I'll do is I'll email them and maybe, because Saturday's pretty open.
Move some things. to
It is,
Saturday.
everything's, there's only pickleball
And, I mean,
from 2
I'll
to
just say,
8.
hey, Sunday the 20th is gonna be the Easter egg hunt, and then maybe that Saturday and the Saturday of Easter, they're gonna wanna move to, that weekend, they'll wanna move to Saturday to avoid Easter as well, so maybe that'll work, and if they can't, if they don't want to, then, but at least we can offer them time so that they're not.
Right, because John usually overrides it anyways, whoever's in there, because it's a town event. So he usually says that we kinda,
Guess
I
you'll,
mean, it's booked, but it's all different groups, so it's not like one group is being in, if pickleball had it all day and you're taking
right,
8 hours of time from them
Yeah.
that they had planned on, that would be a significant impact versus 2 hours for each group
yeah.
that they have to reschedule.
What's the significant impact when you stop pickleball? Just kidding.
So the whole day is full, but it's only a little bit for each
That
group.
sport, by the way, is growing. It had 500,000 people probably 4 years ago. It's 2.7 million people playing pickleball now. And in the Pickleball Association that's nationwide, 1,200 new members signed up alone in January.
Wow,
that's
Huh?
big.
There's 130 courts in a place called the Villages in Florida. In most of the communities around here now, they're putting pickleball courts in because it's just taken off.
wow.
Good activity.
So you'll email them and
Yes.
find out if they'll move?
We'll
Okay,
move it.
Well, yeah, we'll just basically tell them,
that you're moving, okay.
Yeah.
that
So
they're
when I
moving.
do the March, I'm gonna put the 20th off.
correct.
Yeah, okay. All right, so I'll start booking that.
February 22nd,
Yep.
that was the flag football request.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Right.
I just wanted to see what was it open?
Yep. So
She
the
was-
22nd is a
She was
Monday.
requesting, I think, oh, wait.
It's a
Yeah, she's
Monday,
requesting
4 to 6?
February 22nd, 4 to 5, I believe.
4 to 5.
4 to 5. This is for the Litchfield Flag Football League, requesting February 22nd, which is Monday, you said? From
Yes.
4 to 5.
That's us. We have it until 5. I'll give you a 4 to 5.
Oh, thank you. Actually, we have,
'Cause
oh, you
we're-
do, you do,
we're in
you,
there on Mondays
you
from
do,
9 to
yep,
5.
yep, yep.
So I'd be more than happy to cut that down on the 22nd till 4 o'clock.
Great. Thank you. That was easy.
I'll reply to her.
Yeah, sure.
And this Winterfest 5K entry form, I can get rid of that, right?
You can get rid of that, yeah. So, my one, remember I told you to get rid of that age group? I've never
Oh, you
had a
got one?
runner.
You got one?
I got one.
Well, on the medal, I did 50 plus anyway.
Thank you.
On the Saturdays,
I'm like, right, to get rid of one age group that comes in one.
we're gonna have stuff for March later on, right?
Right.
Can I just add one more question?
Yes.
The bubbler in the town hall, that's, I guess, can I jump into that one?
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Sure.
know. Okay, that, we've looked at that, we're willing to pay quite a big sum of money towards that. I guess the town was gonna spend about $400. We'll probably come close to matching that for pickleball alone. The hope would be that all these other leagues that are playing could pony up 25 or 30 or 50 bucks. The thing runs about $1,000, but it's much safer, it's much more efficient.
Yeah.
I don't know where that stands, and I don't mean to jump.
No, that's fine. I wish actually Kevin Lynch was here because
I
he,
chatted with him just recently.
oh, good, okay.
And he's got his plumber looking at it, but I just wanna make sure it's, we're willing to pony up quite a bit of money to help that.
It is, and we definitely appreciate that, but as you pointed out, there are other leagues in the town that do in fact use Town Hall. So we should try to reach out to them to see if we can, get some,
Because we were providing water, we stopped doing that to make the place cleaner.
right.
And so that was one of the impetus to the folks, and we also told them we'd be willing to get a bubbler for the folks, so we're.
This is one of those bubblers that you hold your water bottle under, and it
Just pull it right
pumps
out,
in.
you see with the YMCA, the
Yep.
Nashua, the Sports Academy has it, Manchester has it.
Yeah, I see them everywhere now.
Yeah, they are.
They, I think there was a couple of different options that Kevin was looking at. Some of them have
Right.
coolers built in and some don't. They're just,
Right,
they're
understand.
just water flow, you know, and it's whatever the temperature of the water is, you know. So I think he was looking at the cost differences in that and also what would be required for power
Okay.
to run in there to
But I
get
think
that
if all the
working.
groups pitched in, I mean, we could probably go over the top on that in no time.
Yeah.
Agreed. I'd like to get that in there soon. It's been without a water bubble now for a little bit now, right?
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
What else can pickleball do? I mean, you need anything else?
Did he give you a time when you spoke to him?
He's just working on it, but I just thought since I was here and had the form,
Yeah, we didn't meet 2 weeks ago, so the last update we got from Kevin was about a month ago. And at that point, he was looking into it as well.
that's right, probably about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I'd gone off for cataract surgery, and I happened to run into him. So
Okay.
he's in the process of looking with his plumber and the cost.
Yeah, so he may send us an update,
Okay.
on whatever, but,
I think I'll be in here tomorrow. I'll see him, I'll ask him about it.
yeah. 'Cause I know that was one of the topics at the last meeting was checking with the other leagues. I don't know where that stands.
I mean, if they, I don't know how many leagues, probably 6 or 7 leagues, but even if they did $25, there's another 150, 200 bucks.
Exactly, yep,
And with the town and us and that, I mean, we can go over the top and just to be beneficial to the whole town.
right. Agreed.
What else can I do?
So you're now the contact? Jeanette's,
No, Jeanette is, I'm the president of it, but
Okay.
Jeanette's in Florida, so she said we had covered it.
Oh, nice.
Screwed up the last 2 meetings, so I want to make sure I was here.
I
Yeah,
felt bad.
We appreciate what the town does for pickleball. I mean, and we've got a lot of folks out there playing, and it's just great.
that's great.
Good.
We want to make sure that we reciprocate back to the town.
It's good that the hall's being used, so that's good. Otherwise, it doesn't get used during the day, so
Yeah,
might as well use it.
yeah.
No, I
You all
think,
play pickleball?
not yet.
You need to come by.
I've seen
I
you.
watched.
Yeah, we've seen you.
You come by and try it. I'm telling you.
I don't know if you were here, I think I mentioned this once before, I was at Sports Zone in Derry,
Right.
and this was during the day on a weekend, and there was a few people out there playing pickleball. And I said, oh, do you guys play in the Litchfield League? And they said, oh, no, they're way too good for us. So that's where all the pros play, is in Litchfield.
All the-
We've got some folks that play in the weekend that they're tournament players. And they're very, very good.
That's good. That is.
We got folks in their 80s playing out there.
That's awesome. That's really, it really, I mean, you guys started, I don't know, 4 years ago?
Is Jim Plotnick still around?
4 years ago, yeah.
Jim Plotnick?
Name doesn't ring a bell.
Because he's the one that actually brought it. He's the one that
Brought it here?
started the whole
Yeah,
thing.
some of those, the guys from way back, Bob Welsh, if he was still.
Bob
there.
Welsh, yep.
A lot of the other ones have
Yep.
kind of migrated on.
Good. Yeah, are you guys still doing it at the high school? I know Jeanette was doing, no?
Can't get in there.
You can't get in there, okay.
No, and
They
I
were doing
actually
some sort of
called
class or something like that. Thought she was gonna do some,
I think they did a class.
Yep.
And, but you can't get into the schools because it's booked so far in advance.
Yep.
I said, how about evening hours, we'll pay for the gym. They said, there's nothing available till, I think they said May right now.
oh, wow. All right,
Am I good to go?
you're good to go. Thank you.
Thanks. It was a pleasure.
Good to meet you, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for your help.
Good school. Westford.
What, Westford?
Westford Academy.
How do you know the school?
I grew up in Maynard,
Oh, you did?
yeah.
Yeah, I've been the varsity coach there for 9 years, and I've been down coaching at the school for 13.
Very nice. It's a great school.
The DCL's a good league, and tough.
Yeah, I've long since moved out of Massachusetts, but
Yeah.
it's a good school.
Thanks, see ya.
Bye.
Let's see, the other communications I had, no more requests, right? It was just,
I do have one more
oh, you
request.
got another one?
We have a request from, I think it's, Booster Club, Campbell High Booster Club. They want to do a spring fling adult night out. They're looking at using Talent Hall on the evening of April 9th. They'd like to access it from 5 p.m. until midnight. So again, this is a Booster Club request.
We probably need to get a little more info on what an adult night out is.
Adult spring fling. Well, I would imagine it's a similar thing to when they had the dance last time, or when they have.
Right, but I mean, is it gonna be BYOB?
Oh yes,
and
I'm
get
sure it's the
They
same.
should have that on
It's the
there.
Booster Club. It's the same as it's always been. I mean, I don't think the Booster Club is going to change what they've been doing. I don't know if it says raffle baskets, possibly a 50-50 raffle.
Isn't there a thing that says alcohol or something on there somewhere?
Let me see.
Guess not.
Signed. That's our use. There's nothing in here that says.
So I guess we,
A fundraiser, Booster Club initiative, scholarships, varsity sweatshirts, etc. Fundraiser to raise funds for those.
so we can get more information from them, we can, when is it, April 9th?
April 9th, I can text her and see. It's, I can't imagine it being, aren't Booster Club requests all the same when they ask for Talent Hall?
No, because they've done like, well, I guess that was the Lions Club, did square dancing. I mean, they've done some other things, but, most of it's always been, they did an 80s dance party, and they've done mostly comedy nights.
Okay, let me see, what does the spring fling entail?
But I would feel much more comfortable knowing exactly what was happening
Sure.
before we approved it,
Sure.
yeah. I mean, we can sort of block out the time.
Okay, we'll see if she responds. So yeah, we can discuss that. That's for, not until April. And that would be a Saturday night,
Pickleball has it from 2 to what?
2 to 8 at this
And their
point.
request was,
5 to midnight.
Right, but at that point, the day use is gonna be a lot less.
Right.
Because people hopefully will be outside,
So they may be able to just
so we can move them
shift.
to the morning, and
Okay, so it shouldn't be, I mean,
they prefer to be in the morning anyway.
Pickleball?
We've sort of moved them back to accommodate things in the
so
morning.
getting in talent shouldn't be an issue, it's just a matter of getting the information before we vote.
The event, right.
So we can hold off on that till the next meeting. Unless
Oh,
they
it does say food served,
They
they didn't circle it.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So those are the only two, you're handling the schedule, Andy, for the leagues. So I think those are the only two requests that we've had.
Yeah, I didn't see any others.
Were we all set with pickleball for this weekend?
Yeah, I think they gave up the whole day on
Alright.
Sunday. Which we need to discuss what we're gonna do Sunday anyway, but.
Because we have, right now it does show instructional in there for Saturday, but that's not gonna happen.
Correct.
Okay, good. All right.
So I have, that they're looking for the town report. So I know Sandy usually does that, right? So I sent an email about it last week when Donna sent us a reminder on it. I was in here yesterday and she was asking about it. So I don't know, I think it stays mostly the same year to year, right?
Just say ditto.
Yeah. Yeah, I would do it, but
Who has the report,
so-
John? Well, like you said,
I
Sandy.
would assume Sandy.
yeah, it's just whatever, it kind of carries over the same thing from year to year with just the additions of special events or things that have, things that happen throughout the year.
So we don't have to include new leagues, for instance, flag football that's been added?
Well, we could, yeah, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that,
Right.
that changes every year, I think. But for the most part, I think she just takes the exact same format and just makes a few.
Right. And I think what we
Tweaks
could
it.
do too is I'll forward her the list of the organizations and the contact email that we've created, and basically that way in our town report, we can just list those as the emails for each of those leagues. Just makes it easy.
Can you copy me on that?
Yeah, all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll have that with the info table maybe as well at Winterfest.
Oh, okay.
So we're having a table at Winterfest for every organization in town that wants to do it. They can put flyers out, they can put a sign-up sheet.
Yeah, I tried that the first year at the Easter egg hunt. I didn't get any
So,
response.
because we occasionally get people they say, hey, I was going to sign my kid up for soccer, but I don't even know who to talk to about it,
Yeah.
or-
Yep.
So, if we're gonna have an event where there's people there with young kids, then it's maybe a good place to reach out to them and say, hey, here's everything in town, that you can get involved with.
Is there a way to is there an easy way to set up a spot to get people onto either the Twitter or Facebook? In other words, if we can get them on there for the communication, I don't know if there's,
You mean making
Yeah.
people aware that this is where you need to go to get any of this
Right.
information?
and put the Wi-Fi information there, if they have their phone or whatever and they don't get service or whatever, they can just get on there and just add us right then and there. Which would be,
If we're gonna make up little cards that we just hand out when we give them a wristband, just give them, say, hey, if you're not already aware, this is the
Rec.
rec website and Facebook page.
or just like a way to have them just to get an email address to forward them the information. Just say, here's a link, here's our, look us up on Facebook.
Well, and that's one of the things that we've had, not just with Winterfest, but with other things in the past where, we're trying to reach out. People come to us and they say, hey, do you guys have a mass email distribution list that, and we don't, because the leagues all have that information individually, so we rely on them to pass information along for us. It would, it'd be great to be able to do that, to have that information. I just think without I think it's difficult just to get people to say, yeah, here's my email address if you ever need it. You know,
Right.
if they're only gonna give it to you if they're signing up for something, or it's, you know,
Right.
I mean, if we could have a thing where everybody just put their email address down and we ended up with 300 emails that, you know, we could start off and say, okay, this is a, you know, whenever we have something that we need to put out there, then we can at least start with this and hopefully that would grow. But
But I mean, that's what, like, if we had a computer or a laptop just sitting there, not that there would be like an Excel list or anything, but just something that we could just have, almost like a Google form that's always popping up, and just say, give us your name and email address, and, you know, and just pop that in.
Right, but they gotta, so we gotta, just to tell them what, they'll get email blasts from us? They'll get blast notifications about things?
Yeah, if they want to be informed as to recreation things in town.
It could work, I just don't know if people are like, I mean, I walk into a store and they want my email address, I'm like, oh my God, I do not wanna
No,
give
I
you
mean,
my
just-
email address.
We're not going to ask them for it, just say, hey, just have a table set up so that people that want to go over and do it, do it. Not like trying to sell them, saying you have to, oh, if you want to get this, you have to sign up and give us your email address. It's like, no, hey,
It
Just have-
could work, it could. I don't know about leaving a laptop there, and,
I think maybe if we just have a sheet at the, when people, at the entrance, when people come in and get their wristband, we say, hey, if, you know, we have people always looking for, you know, information, and we're gonna try and put together a distribution list if you wanna be on that list, if, you know, if we're sending
Right.
out announcements and things
right.
like that.
I just didn't want to have, it's,
your name down.
people don't like, people usually don't put their names down on the list, because then the person behind them,
well, that's the same thing as, not that they, would it disappear when they added it
right,
to the
that's what I'm
Google?
saying, have a Google form that just completely refreshes, so, you know, it'll just always be the form, you put your information in, then a blank form comes up again, but then we will get you know, we'll get that Excel or the Google sheet with all the specifics.
Yeah,
Would
I
be
don't know how to
nice.
do that.
And also, the thing with the people writing them down, as you're typing them in, you know, what does that say?
Right.
And then it's off by something, and then some person sends you this nasty email, because, you know, why am I getting this email?
Right.
It's
I mean,
off
that's,
by a letter.
I mean, the idea of leaving a laptop, we could, it's just getting it power and
I'm just in the hall, if there's a group that's set up there, and just set it up next to the table, say, hey, you know, get one of the groups, if they're doing it, just keep an eye on the laptop, it's not like it's,
I mean, the easiest place to do something like that is right at the entrance, because every person that comes through is checking in there.
correct.
I just don't know the best way to collect that information. Or to-
Yeah, I
or
just
to-
don't
or to
know, I
get
mean,
people that, you know, to be willing to do that.
that's my thing
right.
is, I
I'll
think,
look and see, maybe there's even a way that we can just have people text something, like,
Oh, yeah, if you,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
text this if you wanna get, you know.
yeah, and that way it'll, and then they'll get a form to their email, or to their text, to their phone, you know, to fill out for information, but just text this and you'll get something, so maybe there's something that we can do on that end.
yeah. I mean, Twitter, it's just a matter of, are people out there following, and no one's following, so, but there's nothing been, we haven't posted anything, I can post Winterfest. We have the Facebook page, but that's again not capturing people's emails. That's, you
Right.
can, you'll post something on Facebook, it's a matter of people reading the timeline or whatever those things are called, right? So we don't, you're right, we have no way, and as Keith said, people register all the time for leagues, but it's those leagues that are communicating,
Yeah,
not
and you
us.
can't expect the leagues to give that
Now,
information.
but if they
to-
fall under our umbrella, why isn't it something that the rec commission couldn't,
Because we don't want that responsibility.
it's not responsible, but you're taking the responsibility of getting people's email addresses now and sending it on mass email to them. I'm not saying responsibility of communicating whatever lacrosse is doing or softball's doing. We're talking about a town-wide event, either it's Winterfest, Easter egg hunt. These organizations are, I think 90% of them are under us. I don't know why we can't say, provide us your contacts, so when we have events, we want to be able to share it. Aside for the couple that aren't.
Yeah, I wish John Burnell was here, because he might have a,
Right.
Right, but then, the issue is that, I know with basketball, the list is through the current registrations, so like, once the season starts, anybody that's not registered that year will not get any more emails, because they dropped off. If they're giving us their contact list, and somebody's got somebody in 8th grade playing softball, and for the next 35 years, they're gonna be getting emails and there's no way for us to keep that list up to date.
But there'd be no way for us to keep that list up to date when they come in and go
I mean,
do
it
Google
would be a matter of
Docs.
somebody emailing and saying, please take me off the list.
Right,
Right.
but the same applies for capturing it just through a sign up.
I know the softball website just changed, but the old one, I think every person that's ever been involved in the league, their information is still in there, and you can send you could send a blast out to
Right.
everybody. But that's going back 10 years.
Right.
But if somebody was receiving emails, we had people on the Winterfest committee that helped out the first year that weren't helping the last couple of years, but they were still getting the emails, and they just emailed and said, hey, can you take me off the
Now,
off
when-
the emails?
When you get those things, and I get them too, and it says at the bottom, it says you can unsubscribe. Is there a way to
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm
notify
saying.
us and say, okay, stop
Well, we
sending
could
me
just
the-
make on like a footer on the email
Yes,
that just says, if you wish to be taken off
Yeah, but there's gotta be a way to set up a list that automatically does it, that we don't have to sit there and maintain it. That it will maintain, it should be able to maintain itself, so that somebody just unsubscribes and their thing deletes, and
Yeah.
we don't have to
Yeah.
sit there and go, oh, did Colleen take them off?
Exactly.
Or did it? Yeah.
right,
Well, that's probably something to discuss with John
John,
Burnell.
yeah.
Would be-
Yeah.
probably be the
Yeah,
most-
but it's a great, I mean, yes, I think it's something we definitely need, to
We
be able
have,
to communicate.
we have 469 people that follow us on Facebook. Twitter, I don't do that, I'm not on.
Yeah, I created the account, there's been no, I think there's about maybe a handful of followers.
Probably all of us.
But not only that, I mean, we see, yeah, I know, I mean, the website gets looked at mainly just for,
So I should put that on
calendar.
here. I should put the Twitter info on this, right?
yeah, yeah.
I don't
can
really know
send-
how Twitter works, I've never used it, so.
I tried to
no
do
idea
it.
either.
I tweeted once.
But you just follow somebody and you get all the information that
Yes.
they post.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's a matter of if you decide to look at it, and I just gave up. I was like, oh, let me most of
Yeah,
that
it was a
social
lot
stuff
of
I
work.
start, and then I
Yeah.
forget to do it. I'm
Right,
like, oh.
it's a lot of work to actually remember to go on there every day, unless you're, 12 years old and you have more
Yeah,
than
like you
enough
love
time,
that social media stuff.
but- Right. But I think for adults, it's a pain to, it's just like Facebook, you gotta sign in every day.
Right.
So,
So I did want to go, while we're on communications, because I'm gonna have to leave in a few minutes to get my daughter from work.
It is, by the way, it's an adult night out with DJ and maybe some games and raffles. BYOB, yes.
I don't know if you guys got the email I forwarded from Mike
Yes.
Bosky.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I don't know if it was a committee decision to have him email basketball.
I don't know, Paul, I think, because
Nope.
we discussed that in our meeting, about the basketball conflict. I assume Paul Byron's probably involved in the league either as just a parent
Just,
or.
yeah, it says rep parent and.
But he must have
Winterfest committee.
contacted Mike about it, just judging by the email. It's, that's been our only conflict every year, and, we've tried to get that, them to try and do something. I don't know the whole basketball schedule or what they're working around or whatever, but it's been difficult. I'm gonna suggest actually that we maybe move Winterfest a week earlier next year. We can't do it a week later because of vacation.
The thing with moving it a week earlier, you're still gonna run into the same thing. We just had
Well,
multiple
it's
games.
the playoffs that really hurt us.
Well,
Because kids
there's-
have multiple games in a day.
No, there's no multiple games in a day during the playoff. They play one game.
Well, I know some
But-
people have said, well, I can't come to Winterfest because my kid has a game at 8 and another one at 2.
That might be travel and rec.
Oh, okay.
Well, it could be, I know we have one person on the, who is coaching, and that may be he may be
Two different-
coaching.
Jason has
Yes,
that,
his
right,
children. Now, we were there last weekend playing, and we had multiple, now again, it's because the league has 3 teams in multiple divisions, and they have to double up with their games. So even last weekend, there were double games back to back for certain teams. Now, I read the email, and I still don't quite, I don't know what to say.
Well, the basketball board sort of took it as this wasn't just a parent, this was directed from the Winterfest committee. Basically calling out
I don't-
basketball, saying
I
they're not
didn't
supporting.
read, I actually
Yeah,
didn't read the
I
email
don't-
to
Exactly,
the
I don't
league. I
see
only
the
read,
email
I only
from,
read Mike's response.
Okay, if you look further down, is the actual email, it's not that
Okay.
long.
well, as Keith said, we have discussed among the committee that yes, there is a conflict and because we have people that are on the Winterfest committee as well as involved with basketball, that they have the conflict
Right.
each year. And that we've put the request out, can this be changed? And the request has we've always been told no, but not this extensively told no. It was just, no, we've been doing this schedule for years, and no, we're not gonna change it. Still don't understand I guess, I don't know how the schedule is created in the beginning. Is there a timeline when you can start and when you have to end?
Because
Well-
I thought, I guess a couple of years ago, I thought I remembered that basketball got a late start. And we thought that was why we ran into the conflict, was because
No,
it was
it's
now backed
what
up
it
against
used to-
vacation.
Basketball had a late start that one year, so we actually pushed the playoffs and everything till after the February vacation, which was a complete fiasco because then it ran into spring sports and tryouts. We were trying to do playoff games when tryouts were happening for baseball and different things. But also, you have that vacation week where people are away, so teams can't practice, and then they're coming in and they're playing a playoff game after that. So it wasn't, basketball, unfortunately, the way the season falls is by the time we do evaluations, we usually will have a scrimmage or a first game the weekend before Thanksgiving. Can't do anything the weekend of Thanksgiving because there are too many people traveling. You lose 2 weekends at Christmas, and then you lose, then you have February vacation. So packing it in, they can get 10 weeks in. That's regular season and playoffs.
Okay.
So, I mean, to try and fit a regular season in and cut it down to 9 weeks just wouldn't be feasible. And with the limited gym space, we just don't have, it's
Right.
the one gym.
I guess my thought on it was that if it could be accommodated, the best way would be to try and start the season a week earlier, and I don't even know if that's possible. But if you know what I mean, if not to change the duration of the season or the makeup of the season, but just to shift everything a week.
Right. Right now, we're doing evaluations at the beginning of November, and we're starting in the middle of November. If we did anything earlier than that, then you're going to be having evaluations at the end of the soccer season, and you're going to have a conflict with that, because it runs into, they have that big tournament at the end for rec soccer, so we sort of have to wait until that's all done and settled. It's just, and, we were lucky this year, knock on wood, we didn't lose any Saturdays, but in the last couple of years, we've always lost a Saturday or two, and all of a sudden now the season's knocked down, and parents aren't really happy because the kids only get to play 6 or 7 games. The other thing on top of it is MSBL, and those schedules we really don't have control over.
What is MSBL?
That's the travel. That's the travel.
What is
league.
it? What's the standpoint?
Manchester Suburban League.
Basketball League.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, because they schedule, whatever they're at the whim of whatever the teams have for home gym time.
So,
Yeah, and you know, moving the Winterfest date, I think there's nothing that holds us to having it this Valentine's weekend necessarily, other than that's just happened to be the weekend we did it the first year, and we've had it the same year. But if there's not a better weekend to move it to, then, you know, I looked at it and I said, well, if we moved it a week earlier, it'd be Super Bowl weekend, but even with our normal activities on Sunday, we're done by noon, 1, a little cleanup time, you know, people would still be home for the game. And then, you know, we actually talked about this year, maybe if the Patriots were in the Super Bowl, as a fundraiser for a league, of maybe trying to host a Super Bowl watch party at Town Hall. But then, you know, they didn't make it in, so that was canceled. But that would be something that you actually might be able to incorporate into Winterfest, you know, if it were that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But that might not alleviate the basketball.
there's
Can
still
can
gonna
I
be
ask,
games.
What about Winterfest happening on,
Vacation week?
not vacation week, but MLK weekend in January? Did you have a Saturday, Sunday, Monday?
You know, I mean, this year's been tough,
Yeah.
but we've been
Well, yeah, I mean,
saved.
you get a sort
We've
of-
been saved by
February,
snowstorms
2
every
times.
year. Like,
By February.
That's why I wanted to
Is-
cancel it, because every time we're sitting there sweating it out that there's not gonna be any snow and we get walloped. So I'm like, maybe
Yeah.
if we don't have Winterfest, we wouldn't have any snow.
right.
But you're right, I mean, we've had to wait until February on 2 occasions to get snow.
I really think if we were gonna do it in January, there'd be a high risk of
No
Mm,
snow.
no
That's true.
snow and no ice.
Yep.
After this last few days, I'm thinking we should just have Winterfest in July and we.
Yeah. Winterfest what?
Yeah, Summerfest.
Okay, so, and I know we've talked about it and requested it, and this is, I mean, we've always been told no, so I guess it's,
And it's not because basketball is just being like, well, no, this is our weekend. It's just, you know, it's kind of like if we went to softball saying we want you to move your season up a week. And like, well, we can't because there's snow on the field. There's a certain date that we can start, and we're trying to fit so many games in. I mean, I can't tell you how many times, you know, there's girls and families running from a game to the awards night because,
right.
you know, it's basically, you're just pushing it right up to the last second because of, you know, the seasons are so short.
So, I mean, I think we're gonna run into conflicts any weekend we
Right.
do it. I mean,
And I'm
whether
just-
it's games or playoffs.
I'm
it's-
just thinking getting away, but if a parent has to make a decision on, okay, my kids have basketball or, you know, and there's Winterfest, it's probably an easier decision for them if it's not a playoff, right?
True.
Now, I know that it's an easier decision for them to miss basketball, but at least they have that choice. I think when they're in the playoffs and it's the very end of the season and they're in the it's a playoff game, they certainly are saying, you know, no, I can't miss that.
Right.
So then they're not coming to.
I mean,
Winterfest.
I'm sort of confused. I mean, how much are people spending the entire day at Winterfest?
As a significant amount. Yeah, I would say 6 hours maybe on
Yeah,
average.
with the little ones, because they do this, well, it's not gonna happen this
I mean,
year,
these
but they
kids
do
that
the dog
snowmobiles,
sled.
They just ride and ride and ride and
hours.
skate, and they do the inside stuff. So, yeah, I would say, you know, I wouldn't say people are there for, you know, 8 or 10 hours, but 4 to 6 hours maybe.
Yep.
I mean, ideally, we would have enough stuff available for people to come in and have activities for everybody all day long, you know,
Right.
young kids, and, you know, there's a few things for the adults, maybe teenagers and things like that. It's tough to make that jump because you go and you put in all the time and effort of scheduling stuff and putting the money out for it, and then you don't know if people are gonna show up. Where with the younger kids, I guess you're a little more assured that they're actually gonna show up. I'm open to moving, you know, the Winterfest weekend in the future. I just don't know what's,
Yeah, that's the problem. And we can't go later because there's 2 weekends of the,
Vacation.
of school vacation week where,
Well, knock on wood, hopefully, in the next year or two, that'll change anyway, so.
what, school vacation week? Really?
I know a lot of school systems are talking about going to one,
Oh,
just because the new mandate from the state is hours instead of days, and
Oh,
schools
that-
are really pushing it for, they're gonna have
so
to.
they
That
want
could
to change.
totally
They want to
change
change to do what?
Instead of 180 days, 990 hours, oh, you mean for the vacation?
Yeah,
Just, some schools are
Do
talking
one
about doing
spring.
one in the middle of, to end of March, just do a spring break. And, you know, a lot of, I didn't realize, we're like one of the only places in
are.
the country that does it,
yeah, we are.
February and
You go,
April.
you
so-
talk to most parts of the country and they are March.
Right.
Yep.
That would be nice.
That would be nice.
I'd kind of like that.
Well, there we go. We got 2 extra weeks we
Yeah.
can talk about. We can just move it out a week.
it'd be a week-long event.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're done or not, but I gotta go back to work,
Okay.
unfortunately.
So I guess
So do we vote on this or do we wait?
I would wait and get specifics and
Yeah,
make sure that they
if
have.
another
the-
request comes in, I think we just need to prioritize this as having come in first, but.
Okay, specifics in what way? So it's an adult night out with a DJ and some games and raffles,
Right.
alcohol too.
But we always seem, like, every single time we approve it, contingent on them getting the police detail,
Okay.
all that stuff. I just think that we need to say, you know what, it needs to come in with the original
So do
request.
we need to change our forms then? Because there's nothing in here that talks about police detail. It just says food, beverage served, yes. Nothing
There
about
is a separate-
alcohol.
There is a
I
separate
think
thing.
in those back pages, it might
Does it say
give the-
alcohol?
Yeah, so I know somewhere it does. It talks about the additional insurance.
Yeah, because that's the two things that we need, is we need an additional,
Is that-
Okay, and acknowledge. So is this just because it, so it doesn't say to bring it, it just says to acknowledge the fact. In acknowledgement of the Litchfield Recreation Commission's strictly maintained policy against the sale, possession, use, abuse, and consumption of alcohol or of a controlled drug as defined in whatever, governance and agrees to vigorously enforce said policy during the use of the facility and premises by the lessee. Its officers, employees, agents, representative contractors, customers, guests, and invitees. The use of profane or objectionable language is,
It
and
doesn't-
disorderly conduct is prohibited. Those violating such prohibitions will be ejected. But it doesn't state that they need to provide it.
there is a separate, there's a form somewhere, because it has the outline of what the $1 million additional insurance policy.
Yeah, that should be incorporated onto this, because they
Okay.
sign this anyway.
Yeah, they did.
We should have that incorporated here so that it's all in one.
Okay.
So maybe if we can, I'll talk to Troy, if we can
Well,
get the other,
yeah,
if we can get the other form and incorporate it all in one.
okay,
Thing, makes more sense.
okay.
Good night, I will see you
Good
next
night.
time.
Take care.
Okay, where the heck is the, gotta go back.
So, I guess that was a motion to adjourn.
I think that was it.
I hear a second. All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. So we are adjourned.
So we'll just push this
Ask
to
for
the
the-
next meeting. and
yep.
Just
Ensure
let